The most dangerous flashpoint, in my opinion, is the Middle East. I think that this coming standoff between Israel and Iran, which I think will happen eventually, is a massive danger. I'm particularly worried about Israel's attitude here. Not that I'm that critical of Israel, but the fact is that it regards itself as having its existence threatened by countries around it. And if one of those has nuclear weapons, which will then encourage others to get them, then I wouldn't trust Israel to react to that in a sensible, what I would regard as a sensible way. So that's one possibility. It's true that Pakistan and India is another possible flashpoint. We see how unstable Pakistan is today. Whether the Pakistanis say that their military are firmly controlling their nuclear weapons. They go further and say that the fissile component of the nuclear weapons, the plutonium or highly enriched uranium in them, is kept separately from the weapon itself. You know, there's this component which is not very big, size of an orange or something, can be unscrewed and kept separately from the weapon, warhead or whatever, missile warhead, and guarded separately. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. The problem with Pakistan is the intelligence people, the ISI, who are a sort of power unto themselves. What action they would take if trouble occurred is very difficult to say. I mean, it's a very unstable situation. The military themselves, the intelligence agencies and so on. And you just don't know where the correlation of forces is, particularly in regard to the nuclear weapon. And of course there is, the Pakistan-Indian situation is, the nationalism involved, chauvinism is very great, and once again they're not very, very stable, so it's very hard to say how these people will react in a crisis. And so that certainly is a possible flashpoint. One should be very worried about the instability in Pakistan, but also the reaction of India to that instability. So yes, one should certainly be concerned about it. Of all the countries that may proliferate, who may get nuclear weapons, countries that don't have them already, Iran is of major interest. And Iran has a long history of nuclear technology. I mean, it's been involved in it since '79, since the days of the Shah. They have ambitions to have nuclear power. They say they have oil, of course, but they want to use the oil to earn foreign currency. They want to export it. And therefore they need nuclear, they say, to produce electricity instead of burning their valuable oil. That's what they argue. But they say our ambitions are civil, peaceful, that we do not intend to get nuclear weapons. And since we have no real evidence that they are having an active nuclear, a military program in nuclear weapons, then we have to take that at face value, although many people have suspicions that they have ambitions to get nuclear weapons. The major reason for this suspicion is their activity in enriching uranium. Iran has built themselves a rather quite large enrichment plant, has 3,000 or more centrifuges, and they plan to increase that to 50,000 at a place called Natanz. Now, people suspect that they will use that enrichment technology to produce highly enriched uranium over 90% for weapons, and that's their major reason for doing the enrichment. People argue that the Iranians deny that. On the other hand, I think there's no question that Iran will be able to produce nuclear weapons in the not too distant future if it takes a political decision to do so. there's no evidence that they have decided that at the moment. In fact, the Atomic Energy Agency that inspect the Iranian nuclear program, because Iran is a member of the party to the Non-proliferation Treaty, so that they have to allow in inspectors from the IEA to inspect their nuclear activities. And these inspectors say, we see no evidence that Iran is doing anything other than civil nuclear work. So there we are. You have to make a judgment. Is Iran likely to get nuclear weapons or not? We don't know whether they're doing so at the moment. The Israelis suspect that they are, and they regard this as a major threat to their existence. And people think that Israel may take military action to stop Iran doing that. But they would be very foolish to do so, in my opinion. Of course, that doesn't stop the Israelis doing things, because if they do then take military action, then the Iranians will put all their effort not in civil nuclear, but in getting a military weapon, obviously. I mean, this seems to me to be rather obvious. And they could do that very quickly, because some nuclear infrastructure will survive, and if the Iranians have any sense, they will be clandestinely putting some of their centrifuges aside in secret and well-protected facilities to use after a military attack to enrich uranium for a weapon. And they could do that rather quickly. They may even be stockpiling the uranium, or some of it, that they're enriching already. And so a military attack on Iran would be absurd. So it would be a height of madness to attack the Iranian nuclear facilities. But as I was saying, history shows that that doesn't stop politicians from doing it. Therefore I think we have to worry about that.